Hi, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this week's Community Dharma Sharing Series. I am not Lama Rod. My name is Alex. I'm the General Coordinator for Bhumisparsha, and I'm going to be behind the scenes pushing some buttons. But in the meantime, I'm here to welcome you because Lama Rod is going to be joining in about a half an hour. So I wanted to give us all an opportunity to work with that space however we would like. If you've ever joined us for one of our daily sits that happen on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, what we usually do to start those, which is what I'll invite us to do today, is to just check in with what you're needing practice-wise for the next half hour. And we can all together hold some space for ourselves and be doing it together at the same time. So whatever practices you're working on, whether it's shamansa practice, basic sitting practice, deity practices, things that we're doing in Bhumisparsha, things that you're doing in other practice communities, you can think about this as an opportunity to make a little bit of space for yourself. That surprise, you have half an hour to practice. And also, if you would just like to go make yourself a hot chocolate and chill on your couch for half an hour and come back at 8:30 Eastern time, that is also welcome. So we have half an hour to hold some space for our own practice, for each other's practice. Lama Rod will be joining us in a half an hour, and look forward to having you all in the space with us with Lama Rod in a little bit. So in the meantime, I'm going to, I can just get us started with a little bell in a minute here, and then we can use that if it's helpful. And if you'd like to say hello in the chat, let us know where you're coming from, what you're up to. That's also welcome. But yeah, thanks, Tony. It is a lovely surprise, right? Little chance to do whatever it is that you're doing and have some space for it. So again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, may the next little bit of practice time be juicy and beneficial.
Okay, everyone. Welcome. Sorry for the delay tonight. Um, it's good to see uh, people here, everyone here. Thank you so much. Um, yeah. Also, welcome to anyone who's new. Thank you for being here. Um, and I just wanted to, just to come on. Maybe want to do a little bit of practice with everyone, but I just really, want to continue to just start out by saying I just want to continue to encourage everyone to keep going, to keep moving through what you're moving through. That there's the heaviness, there's fatigue, there's the fear, the anxiety, the overwhelm, the burnout, all of that's there. And in many ways, all of this is really natural, right? This is the result, the experience of working. Like this is the work of us moving through this, um, moving through everything that's arising, because this is not just an individual experience that we're having. This is also a collective experience that we're moving through. So whatever work that we're doing for ourselves, you also have to know that this is also the work that we're doing on behalf of the collective as well. We're all moving to the other shore, right? We're moving to this other place. We're in the journey right now, and maybe you know our individual work may look really different than compared to someone's individual their work, but we're all moving in the same direction, and we will get there if we actually choose to do the work, and so I mean, so much of this choosing is also the struggle. It's like it may not feel like we're doing anything important, or it may not feel like we're doing anything effective, but for me it's the struggle that means the most. It's my engagement with the material that's arising, my engagement with the circumstances that are arising, right? To be willingly in relationship to what's arising. Um, and no matter if we can't stay with it, right? We keep coming back over and over again. Sometimes the work is just like falling down over and over and over and over again, but choosing to get back up. You know, um, and that may seem really not productive at all, but it's still the struggle with things. It's still the willingness to keep moving forward that's really important for us. And it hurts too. Like this hurts. Like this is, you know, f- from my experience, it's just this deep heartbreak. It's deep heartbreak. It's deep fatigue, right? It's a deep avoidance. You know, um, it's the willingness for me to keep showing up over and over and over again. And not only that, it's the willingness to well, to keep falling down, right? To keep falling down, but to be willing to get back up over and over and over again. You know, um, and what's really helpful in the work and the struggle is coming back to this deep experience of being loved. To this deep experience of being held by love. Um, it's hard to be in the world right now and not connect to love, and particularly to this experience of being loved. It feels really isolating. It feels desolate. It feels like a lot of suffering when we're not coming back to this experience of being loved, being deeply held, being tended to, being accepted. You know, and we can go through whatever we're going through. You know, we can go through all the suffering that we're going through, and to experience this love for me also means that I am trusting that my suffering is being taken care of. You know, that I am being tended to. You know, so when I have a really hard day, right? You know, when I, have to deal with shit, being loved means that I have this trust that my brokenheartedness, my fatigue, my trauma, my anger is being held in love. You know, and particularly in this case, I want to say that it's being held by the mother. You know, it's being held by this this consciousness, this awakened consciousness that is nothing but an expression of love and spaciousness, um, of deep acceptance. And I know that for many of us, that's a struggle to fall back, to be held by that experience, to fall back and to be held by this experience of love. You know, but this is something that I want all of us to commit to in our practice. You know, to commit to connecting to and allowing ourselves to be held by this basic fundamental experience, love of the mother. You know, and often for me, this is all I have, is the mother. When I'm alone and feeling isolated and disconnected and angry or hurt or misunderstood, like this is what I fall back to. I fall back into the arms of the mother in this way. You know, this is a period where we're being challenged to earn our dharma, to earn our dharmas, right? When I say dharma in this context, I mean our practice. When I say practice, I mean showing up, being present to, holding space for, metabolizing, right? Turning our minds to the space, turning our minds into the emptiness, turning our minds into the expression of the essence of everything. You know, we have to train in that. We have to train in turning our minds into the actual, authentic, truthful expression of all phenomena. You know, we talk about this, all the time, but like, even in my deepest suffering, the practice in that moment is to understand that even in the suffering is just an expression of emptiness and space, right, and energy. You know, and the more I contemplate that, and the more I practice with that, the more I am earning my dharma. Right, I'm earning this experience of what the essence of everything is. But we have to trust ourselves to let go into that practice. It's the old Zen saying where it's, jump off the ledge, jump off the cliff, and the net will catch you. It's the same thing. If I can just let go and allow myself to be held, and to let go and allow myself to contemplate this essence of all phenomena, including my suffering. Like, can I really do that? You know? Can I let go of this intense fixation on suffering, and to even consider, that this suffering is just an expression of emptiness and energy, or luminosity, as we say in the tradition. Emptiness and luminosity. Can I sit within that? And in sitting with that, can I understand that this is the experience of the mother? Or this is the experience of the nature of my mind, or my Buddha nature, or that this is the experience of God, you know. And for me, the most wonderful thing for me in my practice, which is also the thing that I would never thought would ever happen, is this realization that, like, yeah, like I can come into contact with the nature of God in my practice, and I can reclaim what God means for me, you know, as long as this expression of God is like space and freedom and openness and stillness. That can be God for me. And to live within that realization means that we begin to move through the world not believing what the world is always throwing at us. Like, we have a tendency to take everything so seriously, and rightfully so, because this all seems really fucking real and intense and overwhelming. But even for me, I have to step back and say, this is still emptiness and luminosity playing together and creating illusions and realities and narratives and all this stuff, you know. I have to stop taking this so seriously because I need the space in order to survive the dream, you know. To have to survive the dream, and to survive the dream, as we call it, in Buddhism and Tantra traditions, reality is a dream, right? I mean, to survive the dream, I have to stop taking it so fucking seriously. I also have to stop taking myself so fucking seriously as well. And I say this over and over again. I know, maybe y'all are sick of me saying this, but you have to get real about this. You know, that this moment, this period that we're moving through is not about studying texts. It's not about chanting through sadhanas and stuff like that. It's about turning my awareness back into my inner experience, and allowing that inner experience to guide me towards the realization of the ultimate. You will not survive if you can't adapt to how your inner world and the universe is showing you how to get free. You know? hmm If you can't listen to how the phenomenal world is directing you towards liberation, you're not going to get liberated. You know? This is what it costs. Right? This is what the work costs. It means that we have to start listening. to the phenomenal world, to our wisdom minds, right? To the stillness, to the love, and letting those expressions guide us to what it means to be liberated. Tara means star. And so this is about guidance, right? This is about navigation, right? The early communities of Tara were about moving from one place to another. What do you need to move from one place to another? You need a guide. Like you need someone helping you, directing you, you know? You need the North Star, as a guiding kind of symbol, you know, um, in Tibetan, Tara is called Droma or Dolma, depending on the dialect. And Dolma means the female liberator, the one who's going to take you from here to over there, you know. But you have to listen. Like you have to be willing to listen to how you're being guided, and to know that that guidance isn't necessarily coming in the form of a teacher or a book or a mantra or a story, or a documentary, whatever it may be. Maybe that guidance is coming in the form of a deep intuition, a very soft voice whispering to you, you know, guiding you, directing you in a way that you don't understand, but you can tune into. Let's do a little bit of practice. Um, we're still going to end at 9:30, but I want to leave um, you all with a little bit of practice. And this is going to be just a practice relying on the breath. So if you can't be with the breath tonight, please don't do so. I'll give some alternate instructions. So let's begin just by turning your attention to the breath, just noticing the in breath and the out breath. Letting the breath slow down too. So taking your time to breathe in, taking your time to breathe out, to exhale. Shifting your attention now to the heart center. And imagining that you're breathing in and out of the heart center. And I invite you to just begin to contemplate gratitude. So we're awakening gratitude by reflecting on maybe something that we're grateful for, or we can reflect on all the ways in which we're the recipients of kindness and labor from so many different beings in our lives, and how all this kindness and labor is really about our well-being, our sustainability. allowing that gratitude to awaken in the heart center. Allowing the in breath as we breathe into the heart center to feed into this energy of gratitude. So the in breath begins to really ignite, feed, and spread the energy of gratitude throughout the body and throughout the mind. Allow yourself to just move through a few more breaths. So we're going to take one more step with the breath. And of course, this is still optional as well. So as we breathe in, we're going to hold the breath. So hold the breath, hold the energy and the heart center just for a few seconds. And then exhale that out of the heart center. Okay, and you can hold the breath for as long as you need to, but don't hold it for very long, because this is quite a powerful breath. But we're holding the energy, we're holding the Shakti and the heart center for this moment to just really intensify the Shakti, to intensify the energy of gratitude, to really ignite it, and then to release that energy and let that energy just kind of permeate through our bodies and our minds. Okay, so we're beginning breathing deeply into the heart center and just holding. And releasing. And a few more times if you can. Whenever you may start feeling a little dizzy or a little out of it, just coming back to a normal breath. It's just allowing yourself to rest, get settled again. Nothing dangerous is happening, but we're just awakening and moving energy. And it just takes time for us to get acclimated, to get used to that awakening, that movement. And within this experience of gratitude, we can begin to sense the expression of the mother. That gratitude actually begins to open the door into the experience of the mother, which is the experience of stillness, openness, this deep sense of being held or tended to. So as we turn our attention back to the in-breath, still breathing deeply into the heart center, we allow this in-breath to slowly, gently take us deeper and deeper into our heart centers, which is actually the same as moving into the heart of the mother. So moving into emptiness, moving into stillness and openness, which helps us to begin to touch into and recognize the expression of emptiness in our basic experience. Again, allowing the in-breath to take us deeper and deeper and deeper into the heart of stillness, silence, So slowly we begin coming out of the practice, bringing our attention down to the seat. Noticing the weight of our bodies making contact with the seat. Just coming back into the space, doing some simple movements to awaken the body. Some stretching, whatever it may be that's appropriate for you. Just stretching. Stretching. Dedicating to mirror the energy of this practice, the liberation of all beings. Now, if there are any questions that you may have, let's start exploring those if you have them. If you're still awake, that is. And so I also, while it's on my mind, we are in the middle of two eclipses. So I think we had I guess a lunar eclipse, and we're going to have a solar eclipse, or is that backwards? Anyway, we're in the middle of two eclipses, and so the energy is really quite intense. And I think that the next eclipse, which I think is happening next week or the week after, I'm not for sure, is about really letting go, I think, of old patterns of behavior that are really not useful anymore. So there's a lot of there's a lot of cleansing happening. Um, so I think some of us may be feeling a lot of energy around letting go of things. And this is kind of like right in line with what I've been hearing from from other like astrologers and so forth about the ending of the year being a little lighter for us. which would be nice. Just a little bit of light as we enter into winter. And winter being, I know I have a question here, but winter being a, oh, that's exactly the question. Any thoughts on the Great Conjunction taking place on winter solstice? Yeah, I guess this is it. This is what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's shedding, it's letting go. I think it's like a real kind of, yeah, letting go. I mean, that's the best phrase, letting go, dropping things. I think many of us are really looking to kind of shed this year. I mean, as much as we can. It's given the year, it's going to be really hard to shed in one thing, but like really letting go of enough so we can enter into the next year. Because so this is like this winter solstice is actually the ending of an age and the beginning of a new one. You know, um, and all the astrologers, intuitives, like that's something that the ones at least that I know are lining up around. Um, and we have to be really clear about our wishes, our aspirations for this coming age. Like it's our aspirations that will begin to create a reality that's much more liberated. This age is the coming of the mother. It's the return. I don't know how far you want to get into this, but I'll take you to a few places. Y'all should be used to it by now. But this is the awakening of old, ancient, like mother feminine energy returning back to this realm. So a lot of fluidity, a lot of movements, a lot of spaciousness, a lot less rigidity, a lot less violence over time. Like this isn't like night and day. So like after the solstice doesn't mean that like we're going to be in utopia. Like this is just the beginning of something that's going to take time for us to build into, right? So don't expect this, on December 23rd, after the solstice. But the conditions and everything is present for us. And we're already beginning to see this as well. So we have to really focus on prayer, our prayers, our practices, our aspirations. We need to focus on female-centered practices, which I think this is what we do anyway in the Sangha. Really grounding ourselves in the expression of the mother. But it's still, at the same time, this is still going to be work. It's still going to be hard. We're still going to be pushing through a lot of stuff. So, next year will still be challenging. It still will be challenging given the economic disruption, and this is what happens in late stage capitalism anyway. A lot more houselessness, more hunger. But it's something that we'll be able to really address as well moving forward. So, okay, any more questions? Anything else you all want to kind of put out there? All right. So, if not, I want to thank everyone for your practice. The anthology Black and Buddhist is out. There's been a series of book events that I have not been able to participate in because I already had stuff, books that I couldn't get out of, and that was planned. So I know a lot of folks went to the book event tonight that told me that they wouldn't be here in this space. So that is out. I have a chapter in there. Leave it to me to talk about plant medicine and Buddhism. So that's what I'm doing, and more than likely I would get lots of feedback about how I'm not really Buddhist. And these days, I'm not even claiming to be Buddhist anymore. It's like, what the fuck is Buddhism? Anyhow, so get that book. It's a really wonderful book. A lot of really wonderful folks are in there. Not anyone, I don't think, no, not anyone that's participating in the Sangha, but really, really wonderful teachers. Some of my elders actually are in that book. Okay. So, anything else? I don't think there's anything else that I want to share. Okay. So thank you all so much for your practice, and yeah, we'll see each other again soon on the interweb. Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Be well.